Welcome to another Milo review. I'm John Berry, and today I'm reviewing the first episode of the second season of Milo the Phineas and Ferb Effect. So this is the long, and I mean long, awaited crossover between Phineas and Ferb and Milo. In fact, I did my first Milo review was of the last episode of season 1, A Christmas Carol, back in 2017. It's now 2018 when it finally has come out, so it's been a while. So a big, long wait. So, what did I think of it? It was very enjoyable. Some just neat stuff. There was a lot of self-referential humor in there, which I just love. I love self-referential humor. It's really kind of the best humor. It does not necessarily have to break the fourth wall. If it does, it needs to be done correctly, and there was a good case of that in the episode as well. Just some good humor too. Of course, as you probably would expect at the end of the film, another film of this show, and I should say there will be likely spoilers in here. In fact, there'll probably be spoilers in the images I'm showing to go with my review, so there's your warning. So yeah, but at the end, it kind of makes sense that Milo, Phineas, Ferb, and Cavendish and Dakota, I forget the character's name, but the guy who created Dr. Zone, and Heinz Doofenshmirtz, and probably Perry the Platypus as well. I believe he was there. It's kind of hard to say, but no, are the only ones, left fighting at the very end. And of course, time travel solves it. But but it's not simple time travel at all. No, it's literally you have to rely on not predestined. It's they have to be saved in order for future Doofenshmirtz to come back to the past to save them in that past. Though by going back to that past no longer exists. Yet doing all the other time travel, they fix everything by getting rid of the Pistachion leader, but everything remains the same. Just Pistachions disappear, which is kind of interesting, but kind of makes it unique and crazy. But does it still yeah, I guess it doesn't really conflict with Phineas and Ferb Act Your Age too much. That was about 15 years in the future, I believe. About 10 to 15 years, something around there. Yeah. No, probably about 10 years in the future. So that would be 9 years in the future to this episode, roughly, give or take. Because, this is set during the Screw You after that summer that Phineas and Ferb takes place. So probably more like 9 years at that point. They're just trying to get things all timeline-wise is complicated. An additional 5, yeah, the timeline works out. Somehow, if time travel still works out. But I'm kind of, time travel can be interesting and fun, as long as it's done correctly. And there's two ways where time travel is used, but it does not affect the main stuff, or where it's just, you just dive into it from the beginning and just roll with it, establish an universe logic. So yeah, I did kind of work out my thoughts a little bit about how the timeline worked, and I really review all of what I was saying or thinking to you, and I do apologize for that. But time travel they used it wisely here and just fun. And I kind of at the end of near the end of the episode when Milo gives to the person who created Dr. Zone, remember to give this letter to Zach and Melissa 1 week ago, which it just kind of, that whole time travel thing going back and forth. It's crazy how things done. And of course, in case you're wondering, Isabella did appear in this episode. Not too much of a role. which is kind of interesting. But I also do like how they reference that Phineas and Ferb, whenever this episode is set, we're doing another one of their, projects. Go and play tennis across town. But it's kind of funny how Phineas and Ferb and Milo and Murphy never ran across each other. Like, especially that Milo doesn't know of Phineas and Ferb. They had a lemonade stand, for crying out loud, in one episode of Phineas and Ferb. They had seats on the city council, I think, too. So, how? That is a huge question. How? But what I really wish they had taken is is somehow connected to the first episode roller coaster, because Miss has a fear of roller coasters because of what happened in that episode, because the roller coaster landed in her backyard. So I really wish they had brought that up. Maybe that would actually be, because the episode implies that there's going to be more. The end of the episode implies that the Phineas and Ferb characters will hopefully be appearing more frequently in season 2. The characters say, let's hope we cross over again, because they live on the other side of the town. But it's kind of funny. It's like, that's also good self-referential humor there. And I really do hope that the events of the roller coaster and Melissa's Fear roller coaster are brought together, and because that could be some interesting conflict, and I really wish they would explore. And there's some other self-referential humor too. Some of it's more referencing what us fans have probably been thinking too. But it's just neat seeing the Phineas and Ferb characters again and interacting with the Milo Murphy's Law characters. What else can I talk about in this episode? There's really a lot of good stuff. Talk about the time travel. Oh yes, and of course, Doof invents time travel in this episode. He doesn't get it quite right, but apparently in the future, about 15 years in the future, he gets it right, finally, and totally rebrands himself, which is kind of interesting. But it does conflict with one, I think, the Phineas and Ferb episode where they did time traveling, but everything got fixed at the end, so yeah. So who knows how it all goes in the future. And it's supposed to be crazy like that. They time travel, it's kind of funny, but they land on but the Doof puts in not a self-destruct button, no reference of a self-destruct button, but of an emergency abort button, which he was convinced was going to self-destruct their time machine that he built. So kind of saw that in there, like maybe he's rising up slightly. But also what's what I'm looking for? They land on an island, and I immediately knew what island that was. The island of Lost Dakota. It's like, I knew it instantly. It's like, that has to be the island. What other island would make the most sense? Maybe the island from the one episode where they go on where Milo, Zach, Melissa, and the rest of the class go on a field trip on Scoo's yacht and end up crashing into an island. But the island of Lost Dakota makes much more sense, and that's one. And also, Doof and the guy who created Dr. Zone in Universe, I can't remember his name, have a duet where they sing about the high expectations people have for them because of bumping into time travelers, which is kind of a good thing, nice little song though, which also is pretty nice too, because it comments about self-fulfilling prophecies, which they do fulfill. It's kind of when they stop worrying about fulfilling what they know, they end up doing what they do. It's kind of interesting. But like when you worry about something, you're gonna worry about it. It's kind of like just let things be and things will work out, and that's kind of what is implied. But in real life we often have huge expectations placed on top of us, and we have to deal with it. And it's not it's not like people tell us from the future that we are going to do something. It's just people expect us to do certain things. Anyone who makes YouTube videos, people expect them to put out certain content at certain qualities at certain intervals. That's a lot of pressure for a YouTuber. It's kind of why I just create content that I feel like creating. You know, I started this channel, not sure what I wanted to do with it. Decided to become a Star Wars YouTuber. Can't always get regular Star Wars content out there, so I started sprinkling Disney content like reviewing DuckTales, Milo Murphy's Law, other Disney films, Cars 3, Mary Poppins Returns, as I did yesterday. I also added Harry Potter because I feel like there's some neat, interesting parallels between Star Wars and Harry Potter, which I hope to get some videos out in the future. But that's expectations I place on myself, and I could even worry about. And then the school. You often have high expectations of yourself in school. You know, maintaining certain GPAs. In college, you gotta worry about maintaining scholarships and making sure you don't go on academic probation because your GPA drops too low, etc., etc. You have a lot of worries in your life, and this episode does address it. And then, of course, I should get back to that in North Dakota more specifically rather than that song, which was a pretty nice song. But there's not too much to say, but it's kinda neat how, you know, Cavendish finally learned that Dakota frequently saved his life and, you know, through essentially improper use of time travel, and so sent out the Dakota copies to an island where they make shoes, as was established in the previous episode, and apparently orange soda that is harmful for the environment but fine for people. And that orange soda becomes the word I'm looking for is crucial into the plot of this episode, as it helps defeat the pistachions, which is just kind of hilarious. No, orange soda. Go figure. And that's the entire reason why Doof wanted to time travel, to get some orange soda. It is kind of funny. But also, when Milo, DOG was also there, and Cavendish, Dakota, and the guy who created Dr. Zone and Universe finally ran into Doof, and they're talking about his time machine. Doof habitually goes to talk to DOG, because he's used to talking to animals, which is kind of funny. And then it's his fourth habit, and they'll kind of ask, my question, what, is, trying to figure out if DOG's part of the OWCA, and, Maya's like, he's just a dog, which is kind of funny, which is kind of funny how that scene works out. And then of course Perry comes into that scene to stop whatever Doof's evil plan was, which in all honesty wasn't too evil, just time travel to buy some soda. That's not really evil at all. Probably would have failed though. With Milo though, it doesn't badly fail. A little bit, but not badly. But as I was saying, it also reveals that Doof can somewhat understand what Perry is saying, and they have a whole thing about Perry being a secret agent in there. Perry the platypus going through the entire thing, and then of course Major Monogram calls Perry saying, "We have an emergency," and Doof's like, yeah, we know. It is hilariously good and funny how that scene was written, just hilarious. And it was good too, making you laugh, like, just going on. But it is kind of, it's like, and of course they win, of course, in the end, but it's kind of neat. There was also a scene too where, I think there you are, Perry. And then, of course, so Phineas and Ferb introduce Perry to Milo, saying, this is Perry, our pet platypus. He does nothing. And then as soon as they're out of frame, Perry puts on his secret agent hat and gets back to work again. But it's like, Milo, totally, cause hey, when I met with those other people, we found the person who invented time travel, there was a Perry the Platypus secret agent. I'm surprised that didn't happen. It could happen, but probably won't. But so that means people outside the OWCA who knows about Perry's secret identity are Perry, of course, but oh great, who's that? Oh man, Candace's friend. Stacy knows, because that was established in one episode. And so mine may know now, too. Just kind of interesting how that, when you think about that, how many people know Perry's secret identity as a secret agent and a household pet. You do wonder who else may eventually find out. Because with time travel you can fix it, but time travel here doesn't quite work like that. It really doesn't work. Sometimes it changes reality, sometimes it partially does, sometimes it totally does. It is kind of interesting, but it kind of makes them unique and interesting, to say the least. Maybe it depends on how you time travel. Who knows? Really, who knows? And of course, as I said at the start of this review, Isabella does appear in this episode, and there were, the Finn and Bella moments. You could tell that Phineas was happy to see Isabella. And also, just, I forget the exact details of the other moment, but it was there, which is kind of nice. Do hope to see a little more interaction, but of course we all know there's going to be small moments that doesn't amount of anything until about 10 years, 9 to 10 years in the future when they go off to college in the universe timeline. And of course, the Phineas and Ferb Effect, what an episode is named after, which is like the counter effect from Milo Murphy's Law. It's just hilarious, Phineas and Ferb exert positive energy that affects the laws of probability in their favor, while Milo Murphy has it in the exact opposite, but it can be in his favor, so probably what it does is, the best way to describe it is Milo Murphy's Law affects probability in such a way that makes unlikely things that cause destruction to happen, while Phineas and Ferb causes the opposite of destruction, but can involve destruction. It's kind of interesting. It's like, in general, because Milo Murphy's Law is shown to be kind of a positive force at times. So, and the Phineas and Ferb Effect can be a somewhat negative effect at times. Like, they wanted to do something nice, but it gets cleaned up before the mother gets there. Big, and then becomes a small, nice thing, too. So it kind of works out in their favor. It's kind of interesting how how those two changes the probability do. Because there was that one episode of Phineas and Ferb where an invention of Heinz Doofenshmirtz, causes probability to change against Phineas and Ferb to cause, essentially Milo Murphy's Law, what goes wrong can go wrong. And they make no reference to that in this episode. Which I'm kind of surprised at. But even then, but in that episode they were able to determine that something was affecting the probability, like they did in here. Who knows? It's kind of interesting. Kind of hope they explore it a bit more. And of course, how many people, and some people, and there's just other, neat small things like Milo's parents, realize that Zach is Zach as a lumberjack. Like, how do they not realize it? Granted, Zach at times either wants everyone to know who he is or not know who he is. And he's embarrassed at it, but not embarrassed at it all at the same time. No wonder some people know and some people don't. But that's just kind of interesting. And then, of course, I should say the pistachions want to turn humans into plants, which also overwrites their memories and they behave like pistachions, or more like drones. The pistachions themselves have more freedom of thought and expression and action, especially seen by the giant one who decides to go work at a food pantry, essentially, feeding people who need to be fed, because he didn't want to fight, which is kind of neat, that thing, but does kind of show that the device that the pistachions created to turn humans into plants, what it did is essentially took control of the humans' bodies in plant form. And then, of course, when through time travel, it got, actually got destroyed before time travel, but through time travel, pistachions got disappeared from the timeline totally, and the effect and the effects their invention had on the humans turning humans into plants was reversed, and the humans became humans again. Except for one character, essentially the school know-it-all, you could say, that pompous attitude, who's voiced by the actor who played Phineas and Phineas and Ferb. Still one arm is still part plant, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how that plays out in season 2. There's a lot I'm curious about how it plays out in season 2. I hope they do show more of the Phineas and Ferb characters. I think Doof is going to be probably the one who appears more commonly, but more cameos. You get to they don't go to the same school, of course, but small cameos like they go to the mall and you see the Phineas and Ferb characters in the background, or more references to their inventions and that kind of stuff. That's I think would be neat. Acknowledge them in the background, and occasionally episode bring them in for more major plot development. So yeah, I don't really know if I have too much else more to say besides it's an enjoyable episode. Please give it a watch. So I think I'm going to end my review with this. Thank you for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Subscribe to my channel for future content. I got a lot of content I want to get out, and a lot of content I will get out too. Also consider following me on Twitter or Facebook. I do more on Twitter, by the way, than I do Facebook. Also consider checking out my website or my Discord server. All those links are in the description, as is my Patreon page, where if you don't know what Patreon is, it allows you to support your favorite creators for as low as $1 a month. So you can consider supporting me there. You get extra stuff like bloopers, scripts, cut content, previews occasionally if you support $2 or more. But there's different tiers. You can go check it out. Just kind of wanted to share it with you. You don't have to. I understand. There's creators I would like to support myself on Patreon, but I'm not in the situation to be able to do so. So I understand what it's like to like a creator, maybe even want to support a creator, but unable to do so. And I understand that not everyone can do so. Just sharing my videos and interacting with them on YouTube is enough for me. I want to build a community here, more than anything. So thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.